found myself going back and missing language. It's something I don't think about as often, honestly. I have a horrible confession to make that I hardly ever read anything of substance anymore. I guess I'm sort of in the figuring it out stage. I get so caught up in, the networking and the, how can I sound genuine emails? How many times can I say best? Does anybody really mean that? I mean, how many times can I say, I look forward to finding ways to improve the value of your education without it just being a word. And so, I'm reminiscing on when books really were my life. They still are, but it's more like a long-distance love affair, it's that kind of thing. I was thinking about T. Corson Boyle and the work that guy pumps out. I mean, that guy eats, lives, and breathes shits. There's massive volumes of work. I mean, and his stories, I forgot about him. He's just brilliant. Brilliant. What I miss also is reading Raymond Carver. I went through such an intense Raymond Carver period. He actually, to save my life is a little dramatic. It's not like I was going to kill myself, but he saved my life creatively and spiritually, literarily, whatever you want to call it. During one night at Juilliard, I think it was my second year. I don't even know what I was going. Doesn't matter. And a friend turned me on to Carver, and I picked up Where I'm Calling From that night, his short story collection. And I think only the second time in my life where I've read an entire book. And it's, it's a lot of stories. It's a big book. I read in one night. I was up till, must have been 2 o'clock in the morning. You know how you have those moments where your life just gets a notch more purposeful? That was it for me. I was in a massive Harlan Ellison kick. I wanted to be Harlan Ellison, the ultimate badass, just this little angry kid in a grown man's body, just putting his finger off into the world and having, at least in the early Ellison years, enough unfucking real talent to do that. Clout and creativity and Harlan Ellison, man, dude. It's one of those Wayne's World moments where you're like, I'm not worthy, to even sum up the influence that Ellison had on me. And of course, there's Jack Kerouac, and Jack Kerouac. I think I still struggle with that Kerouacian, is that even a word, image. Because it's like I think of Jack Kerouac and I get just really excited and pissed off at the same time, because to really get Jack Kerouac, his writing takes on a lifestyle, a philosophy. A lot of people argue, is Jack Kerouac a good writer? One of those. I think he is. Beyond the page. Truly, though, beyond the page. And I think that's also what attracts me to so many writers, is that, the ones I love, is that there's also the mystique around their work. I mean, I think their work genuinely stands on its own, but you take a guy like Henry Miller, he wasn't like an office man writing about this stuff. He was living it. And those are the ones that turn me on the most. They are living it. So when I say I get pissed off reading Kerouac, there's always a side of me that wants to go on the road. But I've been on the road, and it kind of sucks. I mean, on the road where you're not knowing where your next meal is coming from. You don't know who's going to pick you up. There was definitely a time that I totally bought into that. It never really quite did it. I mean, I spent a summer at my grandparents' house in Lummi Island. For those of you who know, it's this little spit of an island in Washington State. And, my best friend, Chris, came up. We were 16, and we took a bus to Seattle at one point. And we borrowed his Uncle Jerry's car and drove to Mount Rainier. And that was my Kerouac moment, truly, where, I even came close to that life. But nevertheless, I do think he's a great writer. This is fun. I'm going to keep jumping in with more writers I love. Stay tuned.